For our last angle, we're watching Ella's butterfly from the front underwater. Commentary by Coach Chris. So really, there's one thing that I'm using this angle to look at, and that's kind of the extension phase. It's kind of the first catch of the sweep, and then the press. And again, with Ella's stroke, I really like what I'm seeing. She's doing a lot of stuff right. Not getting too narrow on the entry. Hands are getting in. She's leaving just a little space so the water's not getting too disturbed for that head. I think she can widen out a little bit. So Ella, don't bring the hands in quite so close together. Keep them just a little bit further apart for that entry. And that'll save you some energy, especially later on. But so this I can already tell you've heard because you're trying to do it. So the first few strokes, like this one, you're trying to get those hands closer together, which tells me you know you're supposed to be getting them together underneath you. So you've heard that before. But as you take the first 3 or 4 strokes, they're kind of close together, and then they start getting wider. Now we're wider. And then we're going to go wider again. So basically, you kind of know what you're supposed to be doing, but your old habit is to kind of do what you used to do. So as we talk about, when you're doing butterfly, your pull has 2 phases, and you know exactly what they are because you do them as well as anyone. You have the sweep phase that lifts the head, and then the press phase that drives you forward. On the sweep phase, you're doing a really good job. So in the sweep phase, we're seeing 2 hands, 2 paddles, sweeping around, bringing the head up, and then coming together. Now what you want to do is bring them all the way together. I want both those hands to get almost to where they're touching. I want you to sweep them in even further and get to where you basically almost touching your pointer finger and your thumb. And you're making a little diamond with your hands. And that way you go from 2 separate little paddles to 1 giant big paddle that'll drive you forward. That big paddle is where all the power is, and you'll see that technique used by a lot of the top flyers in the world, practically all of them. So you're getting close, but we need to get even closer. So hands in, 2 paddles. Here we got to get to be 1 big paddle instead of 2 paddles. Here you can see there's the 1 paddle. There's the other paddle. You got 2 little paddles. We want 1 big paddle by getting them together. So bring those in closer. Just sweep them on inside to where you're practically, underneath at the top of your belly, underneath your chest, getting the hands where you're not quite touching, but you're almost touching. Something you can focus on is, again, that single double drill is a good one. You can do 1 arm stroke, try to bring that hand in underneath you, take the double arm stroke, and actually touch those fingers. Okay, when I was learning how to do this fly, because I swim fly a lot like you, I was learning it in college when I was hearing about this. And really what you want to do is sweep those hands in. A good thing to do is just actually touch the index fingers or touch the thumbs. Just actually touch, not when you're trying to go fast, but when you're just going easy or when you're actually just working on getting that position, doing that single double drill or 3-3-3, something like that is really good. So you have a few single arm strokes where you can just practice just the timing of the kick and everything, and then you do those 3 double arm strokes or that 1 double arm stroke or 2 double arm stroke, whichever way you do it, and just get those hands in and actually touch something. Touch the pointer finger, touch the thumb, just touch something before you drive back with that single paddle. That'll help you learn to get the hands that far underneath. Now, when you're racing, you don't want to touch the hands together. You want to get them close together, but not quite all the way together. But for drilling and for just swimming easy, to kind of work on that actual aspect of your drive, of your pull, just touch the thumbs when you're going nice and easy, and just kind of, or touch the index, whichever one's easier, and touch them so you just know that you're that far underneath you and you're making contact and you're going into making 1 paddle. So really, that's the main thing for you to work on. If you can get that, you're going to increase the power of your pull twice as much, because it's just a lot more surface area. But it'll take time, and you'll have to learn how to develop that pull from that position. But the rest of your stroke looks really, really good. Keep working on some of that small stuff, and then as we train and harder and do longer races and that, just try and focus on the basics and keep them from breaking down. The head position, the kick timing, everything. If you can keep that second kick as wide and powerful as you do now, you're gonna have a great close to even your longer fly races. So really good job. I'll see you at practice tonight.